Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving into something really fascinating from Dr. Eris Thorne's work, The Architects of Belief. He kicks it off with these questions that they really grab, what brought you right now? What made you click play or stop scrolling through everything else just to land on us talking right now? Because Thorne's whole point is that nothing, absolutely nothing in your life is random. Not your job, not your relationships, not even the stuff you keep struggling with. He says it's all part of a pattern, a kind of design that's been unfolding for years, maybe decades even.
Yeah, it's quite something. Most people, they just drift through life completely unaware of these patterns shaping things behind the scenes. They feel tossed around by circumstances, right? Sure. So they blame things like, bad luck, or the economy, maybe how they were raised, other people. Anything, really. Anything except the one thing Thorne says is actually pulling the strings. And that's the story they've got running in their head about who they are, what they can and can't do.
And here's the real mind bender, isn't it? Most of us didn't even write that story ourselves. It feels like it was sort of pieced together for us by parents, teachers, friends, society, social media, the news, you name it. Even random comments from strangers. It's like living out someone else's script. And then you're left wondering why your own life feels so out of control.
Right. Which leads perfectly into what Thorne calls the cognitive awakening. It's not some, mystical flash of light. It's that moment you start to actually see the pattern. You realize, hang on, this story I've been living, it isn't really mine. And that's the turning point. You shift from being sort of a victim of your circumstances to starting to become the author, the architect of your own reality.
So the very fact that you're here listening to this right now, Thorne would probably say that means you're already waking up. There's something inside pulling you towards understanding. And interestingly, he points out this feeling. It usually doesn't show up when everything's easy and comfortable. No, it comes when you're at a cross, when you're just tired of the same old loops, when you feel ready, truly ready to break free from whatever's been holding you back. So this deep dive, we hope it gives you a kind of insights from a key to unlock patterns you maybe didn't even know were there, to understand why things happen and how to change them.
Exactly. And it's important to stress, Thorne is very clear, these invisible forces, they aren't magic or anything supernatural. They're psychological. They're scientific, rooted in how our brains work, our cognitive biases. And this understanding reveals a fundamental difference he sees between people who just sort of survive life and those who actually thrive. The thrivers, they get something crucial about reality. They understand life isn't just happening to them, it's happening through them. They're not just reacting, they're creating their experience. And once you grasp that, wow, everything looks different.
Okay, so let's bring this down to earth. How does this actually work day to day? Thorne uses this brilliant analogy. Think of your mind like a computer, a really complex one. And it's been getting programmed since day one. Every experience, every conversation, every belief you picked up along the way, it's all been writing code. Lines and lines of code in your mental software. But here's the problem, he points out. A lot of that code? It's old, it's outdated, it's limiting, and frankly, it's probably working against what you actually want now.
But the good news, the really empowering part of Thorne's message is that just like computer software, this mental code, it can be updated. It can be rewritten. You can completely transform it. When you learn how to shift from being the program to becoming the program, that's when things really start to change in ways you might not have even imagined before. Now you might think, okay, sounds simple enough, so why isn't everyone doing this? Well, Thorne argues that understanding the game, like we're discussing now, that's just step one, actually changing it. That's the hard part. That's where he says something like 99% of people, they just drift back. Because your current reality, even if you don't love it, it's familiar. It's predictable. And our brains, neurologically speaking, they often crave that predictability even more than growth. It feels safer. So it's incredibly easy to just slide back into the old ways, the old thoughts, the same excuses.
Right. And what I found really powerful and maybe a bit counter is where Thorne says the real change act root. It's not in these huge dramatic life overhaul. Happen almost in feel that pullback to the old habit, the old thought pattern. And right there, you choose to slate. Or maybe you're about to decide something out of fear and you stop just for what would it, those little micro moments. Thorne says that's power act.
Absolutely. And connecting that to the bigger picture, Thorne observes that people who make profound changes, they treat this personal transformation almost like survival. It's not a hobby. It's essential. They understand that the old programming isn't just capping their potential. It's actively, if subtly, kind of suffocating the person they're meant to be. The crucial thing is time. You can always make more money, find new relationships, learn new things. But time, that's the one resource you absolutely cannot get back. Every moment spent living that old script is gone. But it's not about becoming someone totally new. It's about uncovering who you always were underneath all that program. Because, as Thorne constantly reminds us, anything that's been learned can be unlearned.
Which brings us to this concept he calls militant self-awareness. I love that phrase. It's not passive navel-gazing. It's this active, almost obsessive commitment to catching yourself being unconscious, catching those automatic reactions, those programmed thoughts as they happen. Because freedom, according to Thorne, it isn't some state you achieve like reaching a mountaintop and then you're done. No, it's something you choose again and again, moment by moment, thought by thought, decision by decision.
And here's the really beautiful part of the shift Thorne described. That same brain, the same neural wiring that's kept you feeling stuck. Once you learn how to consciously work with it instead of fighting against it,
Right.
it becomes your greatest ally, your most powerful tool, and then your world starts to reflect that inner shift. Things outside you seem to change, but it's not really that the world itself changed. So you changed what you're looking for. You changed your expectations. You changed what you're willing to allow, what you're willing to accept into your reality.
So Thorne leaves us with this really powerful thought to reflect on. You were never actually stuck. Not really. You were just asleep in a way, cognitively dormant. And now you're waking up. So the question isn't really, can you change? We know you can. The real question is, will you? Will you make that choice?
Yeah, and perhaps this message, this deep dive, found you right now for exactly the reason it needed to. What you take away from Thorne's ideas, from the architects of belief, it really does have the potential to change everything you see. The choice is yours. It always has been. But now you know that. And knowing, that changes the whole game.